Hello, everyone, and welcome to No Butts About It. I'm your host, Josh Butts. I would have put together some videos talking about some NFL draft prospects who some people are talking about, but not a lot of people are talking about, and I don't think they're getting enough credit. Before we get started, though, just want to apologize for this glare like right here. I tried to cover it up, but with the box, and it's not working. So just real quick. That is so much better. Hopefully that looks a little bit better for you guys. If you have been following the channel for a little bit, if you've been following the show, you have heard me talk about my favorite draft prospect this year, my favorite guy who I think teams could take late, who I hope the Bengals take late, and that is Kansas State tight end Ben Sinnott. Everyone is talking about Brock Bowers, and I get it. He's a great prospect, but the guy who I really want and I think is going to be a great steal is Ben Sinnott. So that's who this video is going to be. So last season, Ben Sinnott as a junior finished with 49 receptions, 676 yards, averaging 13.8 yards per reception, and he had 6 touchdowns. He is just great to have. He's not going to be a Travis Kelce type guy, but he can be good in the receiving game, and he can also be a good blocker. And if you have followed for a while, you know that when I look at tight ends, I want guys who can both block and receive. A lot of people really want Travis Kelce type guys who are primary weapons in the receiving game. That's not really what I look for in a tight end personally. I really liked Michael Mayer last year, and I think Ben Sinnott also kind of fits into that similar stereotype for tight ends. And if there's like a NFL pro who I'd say definitely fits that now, it's George Kittle. George Kittle is great blocking. He's great at receiving. Sometimes his impact on the game doesn't show up on the stat sheet because of that. But I really think that George Kittle is able to impact the game as a blocker as well as the receiver. And that's what I want in a tight end. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, okay, Brock Bowers is like the only tight end worth taking in the draft this year. He's a generational prospect. He's a great talent, first round tight end, and then after that, the fall off is just huge. I don't agree with that. And also, trends don't really lead that way. Let's look at who has been taken in the first round the last like decade or so from the tight end position. So in 2021, the Falcons took Kyle Pitts. Obviously, his talent hasn't really been used well in Atlanta, so there's still some potential there, but so far I wouldn't say he's a top 5 pick based on what we've seen. 2019, the Lions took TJ Hawkinson 8th overall. Definitely a great guy, probably one of the better ones on this list if you're going to take a tight end in the first round. Noah Fant, Denver Broncos, 2019, number 20 overall. Not a guy who I'd say is a first round, maybe a second or a third round guy, but I don't think he needed to go in the first round. Hayden Hurst, Baltimore Ravens. If you look at the Baltimore Ravens draft, it's crazy that that was their first pick. He was number 25 in 2018. Just a reminder, that is the same draft that they got Lamar Jackson. So definitely an interesting pick there. But hey, Lamar was there later on in the first round. O.J. Howard, 2017, number 19 overall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Definitely not a first rounder. Definitely didn't pan out. Same thing, Evan Ingram, 2017, 23 overall to the New York Giants. Good. Another second, third round guy, maybe, but not a first rounder. David Njoku, Cleveland Browns, number 29, 2017. I could see an argument made for him in the first round since it was a late pick. Maybe. I still think maybe second or third round, though, especially with as stacked as that 2017 draft was. 2014, the Detroit Lions took Eric Ebron, number 10 overall. Again, not a great pick, in my opinion, for tight end. Then my favorite player of all time, Tyler Eifert, 2013, first round pick, number 21 overall to the Cincinnati Bengals. And again, favorite player of all time. Love Tyler Eifert. He had a ton of potential. Probably still the best tight end in recent Bengals history, arguably in franchise history. But I don't know if he really lived up to that first round pick hype. And that's a really hard thing to do for a tight end. So you don't have to take a tight end in the first round for them to be successful. Now, I've heard people say online, Ben Sinnott is not athletic. He can't make the big catches that we may need him to. And he's not going to be that guy on a lot of these teams. I don't see a team that needs this guy to be their primary weapon drafting Ben Sinnott. And hopefully they would draft someone before they would even need to draft Ben Sinnott in this draft, especially with as many wide receivers as there are. But Ben Sinnott is still very athletic. If we look at him compared to George Kittle, who's going to kind of be our stereotype for this comparison, George Kittle has a very similar score to Ben Sinnott when it comes to relative athletic score. Ben Sinnott actually grades out higher at 9.72 and grades very similar to him in a lot of columns. Their verticals, their hands, their weight, a lot of it is very close, and the comparison to George Kittle is shocking. And remember, George Kittle came out of Iowa in 2017, and he was a late round pick. He was deep. He was not someone who a lot of teams looked at and were planning on drafting. And now he is one of the best tight ends in the NFL. I don't care about receiving yards and all that. George Kittle is one of the most elite tight ends in the NFL right now. If you argue that, I don't know what to tell you. However, because there are people that will argue that Travis Kelce needs to be the stereotype of athleticism that we need to look at in the NFL for tight ends, here is Travis Kelce's relative athletic score compared to Ben Sinnott's. And again, a lot of these are very similar. Very similar types of athletic scores. I do think they're different types of players, though. Travis Kelce, in a lot of ways, in my opinion, is just a giant wide receiver. He can block a little bit, but he doesn't do that often. I'm going to be looking at Ben Sinnott to block more often, especially in the run game. But again, just for the people who want to see Travis Kelce compared to Ben Sinnott athletic-wise, they're pretty similar, 9.72 to 9.55. This isn't the end-all, be-all of scores, but hey, it's something, and Math Bomb does a pretty good job of grading these out, and they've got some pretty accurate ones out there as well. They've got some misses, but I think they do a really good job of guessing how prospects are going to end up. Then real quick, I wanted to talk about some of these other guys. We've got Jatavian Sanders here with the 5.64 overall athletic score. You can see here he struggled in a few areas, such as with his bench press. His weight isn't great. His vertical he struggled with. This video isn't about him, but I know some people liked to look at him as a possible draft pick. Another guy is Cade Stover, who actually is another possible late round guy. Not someone who I would be striving to go after. Again, his weight and his height are a little off, but he's got better athletic score than Sanders did at 8.15. But Sinnott still comes out on top. Sinnott is the dude. If you're wondering about Brock Bowers' scores, he didn't really do anything at the draft or his pro day, so they don't have that yet. So I don't know where he'd land with these guys. If I did have that information, I would let you know, obviously. Now, as we all know, numbers are not the end-all be-all. Numbers can lie. Stats can lie. It's been proven time and time again. So let's look at the eye test for some of the things. And I'm just going to tell you what I really liked about Ben Sinnott when I was watching his film, what I was watching his games. I went back and watched some of Kansas State's games and just paid attention to what he was doing. Now, the first play that stuck out to me when I was watching this is the 2nd and 6 play against Missouri. And Ben Sinnott's going to go out towards the sideline. He gets wide open, first of all. But what really impressed me is this right here. There's like 3-4 guys who have to take him down. He just keeps going. He is not giving up on the play. I love that energy. That's the type of grit that we see from Cincinnati Bengals players. That's not giving up, needing extra guys to take you down because you're getting every single yard that you can. And that is what Ben Sinnott brings to the table. I love that energy. And he isn't going to be, again, he's not going to be a Travis Kelce. He's not going to have a huge game. But he's also not going to be a Drew Sample where he can't catch. He's a nice balance between the two. And the Bengals, who just signed Mike Gesicki, they don't need Ben Sinnott to be a huge receiving only type guy. They also don't need him to be a blocking only guy because they have Drew Sample. They need someone who's going to come in, bring some energy, and he's going to make the big plays when they need it. Something Hayden Hurst was very good at was bringing some energy to the table, just kind of showing up at that tight end position. And I think that's something Ben Sinnott has the capability to do. And oh my gosh, I just love this play of him just coming and not getting knocked down. He doesn't care. He's getting every yard he can. This next play is another huge play. We've got Ben Sinnott, and he's number 34 here, in case you were not aware. And just look. First he knocks down one guy. Then he blocks for another on this run play. And look at the way he just takes out this first guy. Absolute bull rush. Like, I don't even know if he saw it coming. That's, again, the energy that Ben Sinnott brings to the table is phenomenal. It's beautiful. And the Bengals need better run blocking, especially bringing in Zach Moss. Chase Brown looked great. This running game has a lot of potential here, but we're going to need some help in the run blocking game. And this is a quarterback run, but still, I love the energy we're seeing here. I mean, he just throws that guy to the sideline. There's nothing he can do. And that, I don't know what more you want from a tight end on that play. Back to his passing game, number 34. He crosses behind the receiver. Oh, and he's back in the end zone. Right between, I think that's two safeties there. Didn't get a good look at the defensive formation, but the timing is perfect. He gets there just in time for his quarterback, which it's a great ball, by the way. Great ball thrown by the Kansas State quarterback. And it's right between those two defensive backs so that they can get the touchdown. No one else is going to get that ball but Ben Sinnott. Timing is impeccable. Imagine the chemistry that Ben Sinnott could have with a guy like Joe Burrow, a guy like maybe Anthony Richardson. Colts might be in the market for a tight end as well. I mean, this could be a guy. This could be a deep guy that teams pass up on, and then 5th round or so, take a swing on him. That's all I'm saying. He might not even be your number one guy his rookie year, but he's going to show some potential early on, I believe. Then just one more crazy play to showcase Ben Sinnott's athleticism, because people say he doesn't have it. He can't make the athletic catches. First of all, he makes this catch. Then he just absolutely hurdles this first dude. I mean, come on. Again, getting the yards after catch. He gets open. He's a great route runner. I just love this guy. He's so much fun to watch. When I was watching prospect videos and highlights, Ben Sinnott is just a guy who stuck out to me. And again, who knows? Who knows what happens? Schemes happen. Kyle Pitts looked amazing in college. He's not in the right scheme, or wasn't in the right scheme. We'll see what Raheem Morris does down in Atlanta. But, I mean, I really think Ben Sinnott is going to end up being a guy. And if you are a fan of a team who is looking for a tight end, you guys should be looking at Ben Sinnott, especially if you don't think you're going to get Brock Bowers. And honestly, I know this is a hot take. I know. I think Ben Sinnott's going to end up being better than Brock Bowers. And people are going to call me crazy, but I think definitely by draft value, Ben Sinnott's going to be better than Brock Bowers. But there are concerns about Brock Bowers with injury, his size. He's not this perfect, like, superhuman that people are making him out to be. And there is potential that Brock Bowers isn't going to live up to the hype. He'll probably be very good, but is he going to be this elite destroyer of defenses that some people are making him out to be? Probably not. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you want your team to go after Ben Sinnott? Also, let me know what other players you're just like, why is no one talking about this guy? And I'll look into them. So I've got a list of guys who I'm planning. I got to work around my work schedule as well, so I'm trying to get as many of these videos out as possible. But I will try to get to as many of the guys you want as I can. Just let me know who those guys are down below.